Maybe.
Good for you.
We're live.
Appreciate that.
We're
How are
live.
you?
We're live.
Someday we'll fix the blinds, maybe?
Well, we have to just buy new ones, I think, on that. I don't think we can
Mark,
fix
you
them.
have yours,
I
right?
kind of meant
Yeah.
to replace
I mean,
it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be
I
there.
think that one's already been replaced. Thanks, Sandy.
Already
Already over for 4 weeks. Sorry, very, very sorry to keep all of you waiting tonight. We were just in executive session working on contracts and stuff. Sorry about that. I thought we'd be out within the half hour, but sorry. We would open the meeting. We've already done the Pledge of Allegiance and so forth, but we welcome you here this evening to be heard. I believe that some of you are on, the greatest number of you, I believe, are on the agenda, which is Barre Historical Society. I guess we're going to talk about the welcome sign, and then there's also the 250th anniversary group. Where is that on the agenda? At this, I know this has been a changed agenda here. Sandy, where do we put the?
The 250th
Yeah,
is,
250. Oh, Henry Woods. That's the library. Oh, here it is. The special events. You ever just
New business,
no,
special
that's-
events.
it's-
No, the other special events under old business, that's.
Yeah, it's under old business. It's
Right.
one
the
day liquor
Historical
license.
Society's
historical-
old
Yeah,
business.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think most people are here for the purposes of talking about old business. Am I right about that? I think, okay. If it is okay with the select board members that are present here, I would move that we entertain old business, section B, which is the one-day special liquor license for Stone Cow Brewery that is requested, I think, by the Barre Historical Society. And they're sort of gonna talk a little bit about the theme of their event and so forth. And I would just probably turn that over to who's ever gonna be representing the Barre Historical Society this evening. And I believe that the 250th group have comments and concerns, and so we'll have a little discussion before we vote. Thanks
So
for,
I
thanks
lost
for coming.
Stephanie tonight. She was here 2 weeks ago, but she
yes.
had some prior obligations.
okay,
So she did a great job 2 weeks ago talking about what the event is that we're trying to have. We've got 7 members of the board of directors from the Barre Historical Society here in support what we're trying to do. You can, I can try to explain the event. You can get a better idea. We're doing
Yeah.
something to represent the Hunt Club.
We did explain in detail 2 weeks ago, so I don't know how much you want me to repeat, but we are proposing, we're asking for a one-day liquor license. We're partnering with Stone Cow to offer an event both before and after the parade. And what came to an issue last, 2 weeks ago was, I guess, the hours before the parade. Not sure, we were invited to participate all year long, presenting historical events and the history of the town with the celebrations going on all year. And we came together. We've been working on this since last fall, doing outreach to other events, other people that have hosted events like this, just for best practices and whatever. And we feel as though we've presented a solid proposal. I'm not sure what else to add today.
I'd like to add something quick about the hours. So our proposal is at 11:30 in the morning until 1 o'clock, stop for the parade and start again after the parade. So I did a quick look before I came here. So if you look at the center of town, we got Brusso Liquors, Red Tomato, Cafe in the Common, Marketplace in the Common, and Jenkins. I believe Jenkins has still got a beer and wine license. Brusso's opens at 9 a.m., Red Tomato opens at 10, Cafe on the Common at
Russo's
11.
has got a new liquor license that opened at 8 a.m.
8 a.m. So Mass State law is 8 a.m., so Mass State law does allow serving
I don't know if the real,
alcohol
I
at
don't know if
8
the
a.m.
transition's been made and whether they really open at 8, because I
think that
said,
might still need to be approved by the state,
I
but,
don't know.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
still going through the state, so it'll be 9.
But by
That's fine.
September, it's gonna be
Oh,
8
yeah, by
a.m.
then it should be, yeah.
So I guess regardless, hopefully we're approved here tonight, but even if we're not approved, there's still 5 other places in the Common that can buy booze at 11 a.m. or earlier. And if you wanna drive up to Stone Cow, they open at 12 o'clock, so there's plenty of places to get beer and wine, at 11 o'clock in the morning, so we're just, what's
So-
the concerns?
So, yeah, I believe there was a letter that was sent to you from, the 250th. I don't know if the 250th wants to speak on that.
Yeah, we just made we sent an email basically because we had a discussion at our previous monthly 250th meeting, which is the first time we could discuss this. And first I want to preface that we're very happy to work with the Historical Society. There's no issues between the 250 and the Historical Society. We certainly support your help and your offer to run some of the programs with us. And we've had several meetings to co-join, if you will, and offer those events together. The committee just had a general consensus about safety, and I watched the tape because I couldn't be here 2 weeks ago. And some of those issues were addressed that we weren't aware of. Some of the safety concerns were addressed that when we had talked a month earlier, we weren't aware of those being addressed. So the committee, the general consensus of the committee was we didn't want alcohol during the parade. It's a family event. We just didn't want to have to deal with it. We already had worked with the chief of police. We had details set up. We brought food trucks in, so we had food, whatever. Just the committee didn't want to deal with it. So if the Historical Society is moving forward and you permit it, then so be it. But that wasn't our recommendation, just because we felt there was enough going on. It was a family event. So that's where that came from. We're not meeting again until Wednesday night, so we have every month we meet, so I can't talk to my committee again. They took a vote. I can't undo a vote. But that's what the consensus was.
At that time?
At that time, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I don't have any questions.
I don't have any questions for you. I guess what you're looking for is approval.
We are looking for approval, and we're, we have thought through some of the events that have happened with alcohol being served. We want to uphold our reputation too. The Historical Society is going to be careful in their serving, and Stone Cow, of course, that's their job. That's why we're partnering with the brewery. We do not foresee any issue of anyone being overserved before the parade. I think Maureen, you said too, this was not being promoted as a non-alcoholic event. It's available as we've listed throughout the town, and people will be responsible, so. we
And those who
certainly will
won't be, the chief will take care of.
That's right. We've spoken with the chief as well, and he's
I've
aware.
chaperoned enough dances where I'm ready, chief.
Well,
Do we have a motion?
yep, I would move to approve the one-day special liquor license for Stone Cow Brewery and the Barre Historical Society, a Berry Hunt Club Revival themed gathering for Saturday, September 21st from 11:30 a.m. to 8 p.m.
We have a second? I'll second it. We have a motion made and seconded to approve the request of the Barre Historical Society for a special liquor license from Stone Cow Brewery for the hours included in the document. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose.
Opposed. We have two, it's a vote. And I would just say, when you came up and said it was a Barre Hunt Club revival theme, for those of us old enough to be tripping around Barre, we said, Hunt Club? That was scary. But now
But that's the
I've got
hook.
the horses in the crops, I'm ready to go, girl.
That's right.
If I could jump off topic for a quick second,
Sure.
just while I have a lot of historically minded people here. Are there any significant plans for the town for Quack Walker Day? And is that something that maybe we could, combine or advertise through the 250th as well?
What day you speak?
Quack Walker Day, it's July 8th. Or it's Massachusetts Emancipation Day, also known as Quack Walker Day. But it's a significant day for Barre, I'd say.
It is, and it's noted, and we're aware of it.
Yeah.
We don't have any programming
Okay.
planned for this year for that.
If there is anything that we can do to help with funding, I think in the future we want to look towards potential grant funding too. We've started considering that as we put out grant-seeking opportunities with CMRPC. But we also could potentially use some ARPA if there's anything we could do to get it on people's minds this year at least. So
Sure.
we'd like to see something if there's anything that can happen, even if it's small this year. It'd be good to, you know, get it on people's minds at least.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
I'd love to see something like that, but, yeah.
What's the status of getting the sign back up? I know the chief was mentioning it's out here, but it's damaged. The Quack Walker sign was
Oh.
down by the flower pot, and that'd be important to get back
Yep.
up in our community.
Yep.
Well, I mentioned to be a big, effort for us, we should be able to do that without any problem. So bringing it to our attention, thank you.
Mm.
And we'll make sure that, is it damaged significantly? Do you know?
It's a cast sign.
Right.
And it's snapped off, so I would
We
say
need an
you-
iron
you-
worker.
Yeah, you need a
We've got
specialist
some
metal
iron
worker.
working coming in to do the fire escape, so I'm guessing, and you know an iron worker or
Yeah.
two. So
Yeah.
I think, and there's a gentleman over in New Braintree who does iron work, kind of
Well, it's
specific
not-
kind of
I don't
stuff.
think it's iron, I think it's bronze, so
You
it's
think
gonna
it's
have to
bronze?
be
Okay.
raised. It's a special.
This is a
I don't think
special
it's- I
deal.
don't think it's just a matter of just welding.
Okay, so we'll find somebody.
Lorraine,
I know it's on Lucy Allen's
List.
to-do list. She is part of the historical, but she is also
Right.
on your commission, on
Yeah.
the town commission, the
Yeah,
historical
okay.
commission. She knows it's there. I think part of the issue is that the manufacturer of the sign has gone out of business, so she has been looking not only to increase those signs around town, but to get that one
Okay.
fixed. I think there's a second one somewhere in town that's broken as well.
Oh.
So
How did they get broken?
this one got run over,
Oh.
got hit, so it snapped off. like
Where is
it
the
was
sign?
Supposed to.
The sign,
The Quack Walker sign is right in your lobby.
that's the one that's out there, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, we can certainly look at that.
It's like a
I-
cast
She may
aluminum or
have-
something.
I'd just like to
Yeah.
thank Sandy Hood, who's here today, for for the bunting. Usually
Oh.
Maureen does it by herself, but Sandy took that off my back, and I was thrilled. Thank also the Rebels Lane students today, who all amassed and showed up on the common to take flags from those of us who were big enough to keep them from only taking one or two and not impaling themselves on them. And they finally got placed in the right spots, and I know that the Friday Club is doing lots of things with flowers across the commons for the Memorial Day weekend. I want to thank also the DPW department, who I nagged and complained, got that North Common mowed on Thursday, tight, because we were marking it all out. And then this morning at 7 a.m., I was up there nagging the kid who had the mower and said, I don't care, get off of it and bring it over here, which he did. And so we're really happy that that all came to pass. And you would have been extremely proud of your fifth graders who did the Gettysburg Address. I mean, it was amazing. And then the taps, with the echo taps, I've never heard them done quite that well. I mean, really, ever, let alone. They did a beautiful job. You would have been really proud. And they were so well behaved, I had to say, wow. They were terrific. They were just terrific. So just to let you know that good things are happening, we're getting ready, and we'll do our best. Everything you need to clip and, plant flowers, whatever you need for us to do, we'll certainly get our hands dirty and help out as you move to the 21st. Also, Barre Library Association has a question for you, quick. Are there specific requirements for floats or people or agencies that are going to participate in the parade?
yes.
Okay, so we'll have to contact you. Okay.
There's applications available on the Facebook page and
Okay.
the website, I believe.
I didn't know if there was huge restrictions or whatever, so.
No, not huge.
Okay. Okay, Joe,
We're already registered to be
We're-
in the parade. I didn't-
we're ready.
Good.
We're ready. Well, thank all of you for the work you do, and I appreciate you being here tonight. I'm sorry that we probably made some people unhappy, but we think it'll work out. And I didn't realize we had that many people selling alcohol in the town of Barre on any given day.
Not just on the Common Barre, that's
That's
just on the
just the
common.
It was just on the
That's just on the
common.
common. yeah.
Wow,
That's just the common.
that's true. And then they go to Wholesome Foods, and you can just keep on going. Wow. All right, well, thanks again. Appreciate you coming back.
Thank you.
Sorry to hold you up. Yeah, I know that the next thing we probably could move to, just because this person is probably sitting here and waiting a second time, is the conservation restriction signatures. Now that you let me know about them, we're really not losing all those taxes, just most of them?
No,
I'm
no,
just
she expected the taxes.
I'm just
Already
kidding.
61, good. I just got, the good news is since I was last here, the state approved 2 of the 7 conservation restrictions. So I have the Ketchikan one and the Barre Center for Buddhist Studies one. So Petricona's right next to Stone Cow, so it's the hay field between her house and the Stone Cow parking lot. And then it goes back in a rectangle for about 50 acres. It's mostly woods and horse trails, so it'll stay that way. And then Barre Center for Buddhist Studies is right off Lockwood Road.
I
So
do know
it's
that
their-
location, yes.
Yeah, so I'm sure you're familiar, they have their main campus, but the part that they're protecting is the backland. It doesn't have any frontage on
Mhm.
Lockwood, and it all slopes downhill toward the Prince River.
Mhm.
So those are the ones that are ready. I have copies of both of them for you. I also have the originals, and because there are 7 projects in this initiative, I made this little reference sheet where
Thank you.
curious to see what the similarities and the differences are. I didn't know if you also wanted this. And I'm happy to go through this or the documents or both, and whatever level of detail is useful to you.
When do you expect the whole package to be executed formally?
I'm hoping that the state approves the remaining 5 in the coming weeks, so that if I can be on the June 3rd agenda, we could get everything wrapped up by then is still the goal. And then we'd have all of the closings and have the documents recorded at the registry by the end of June, and then we'll be done. And then you might not see me for a couple years, which maybe you'll.
That will be good, that will be good. Because your explanation, I'm hoping, was very public and provided good information. And so no one has, come up to me for a whole 2 weeks and said, why are you signing all that stuff? Because that means I have to pay more taxes because they're not paying the amount they should. But you've assured me that there are still some taxes that they will have to pay, and as long as they keep it in, 61A, or whatever it is,
No changes.
there'll be no changes. So I said, okay, so now that I can say that, I feel much more comfortable, and thank you for giving us that insight. Anybody else have any more questions?
I guess my other question, are we looking to approve the 2 that the state passed, or are we waiting to do them all?
Well, she has them, I think, for our signatures tonight.
If you're feeling ready, you could do these 2 tonight and then do the other 5 hopefully next time, but if you
Unless,
wanted to do them all at once for
if
some reason,
if
that's
you would
fine.
like to have time to review the documents themselves, obviously, we could give them to Sandy, and then at the next time, that might be
Okay,
better for
I'll
us.
just do them all then.
Yeah,
Do them all then.
and
Do
do
you
them all
want-
together.
Sorry to interrupt you. Do you want the copies, the hard copies of the 2 that were ready? to-
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if you get the other ones before the next meeting, if you could
Yeah.
email them to Sandy, she can get them to us ahead of
Yeah.
the time.
We just got them, I just got them over to her today, because it was late on Friday,
Okay.
but those are the
Okay.
copies of the.
Well, you can just keep that, that's okay. Just look at them when Sandy gets them.
Any other questions or reservations ahead of that, or are you feeling rather pretty good about signing them all next time?
I think pretty good would be okay, but I wouldn't say, I feel great.
Okay, all right, a little suspense. Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, so that takes care of that. I would take John, Mark, I know this is old business as well, caregiver connection, community agreements. Do you wanna deal with that, Tammy, at this point?
Sure, so right now I had put a phone call into the attorney's office. I didn't hear back to them right away, so I went again. So I have an appointment right now on the 29th of May at 3 o'clock to go over,
To wrap it up.
and see
Yeah.
what they have to say.
Chief, I know that you spent some time at least checking the one for that's up there off of Vernon Avenue. What do you mean by checking it? What does that incur?
Well, it'd be like a business check, so we go up there and just make.
Okay, so you do business checks for all of our businesses within the community?
Yep.
Okay, so this is not an extra thing that you're doing just because they're there? No, okay, so that answers that question for me. The attorney will ask that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them all
Because
that
I
information.
think, calculating the impact is, I don't think there's a huge impact. So we'll have to,
I'll let them know everything, but
okay,
Chief Saberni give me some stuff that I will hand over to the attorneys and talk with them to see where we're exactly. I don't really know until I speak with them.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving along back to public comment, if we have any, at the beginning of the meeting.
I think, okay, we got public comment, I guess.
Okay.
Side, something else.
Sure.
Actually, that is on the agenda. The, welcome to Barry sign? Yep, we do
It's
have that on
on
the
there.
agenda, we can,
I have you.
Welcome to Barry,
Yeah.
that's on 5B
Five.
if you wanna go there.
yeah, we can go.
Go ahead, we can go there.
Yeah, we'll do, I'm fine doing that next.
The Historical Society was approached last week with a proposal to work together to recreate this old Welcome to Barre sign.
Huh.
This is located at the corner of
Going
West
up my
and
street.
Pleasant Street, right at the bottom of Pleasant Street. There's another picture of it, it's a little more hidden
Oh, that's
there,
cool.
but there's a couple little postcards too.
What is it, was it a cement?
They believe it's granite. They
Granite,
proposed
huh.
that the whole thing was granite. And so the board quickly got together through email and talked it through, and since we were appearing tonight, wanted to get on the agenda with this proposal as well. Our historian, Lucy Allen, also brought us up to speed on this, but it's the Higgins family, and Ronnie specifically offered, this is something he's wanted to do for a long time, and asked for partnership with the Historical Society to see if we could work with the town and get a sign, a granite sign, created like this old one, to be placed, hopefully, we were talking on the scales. Lucy then updated us and said there are conversations and that project is already well underway.
Yeah.
She said she wasn't certain where it stands right now, but we did hear that in the meantime. So I just wanted to bring it to you and say, is there any wiggle room? Is there a place where we can work with the Higgins family to create a granite Welcome to Barre sign
Sure.
for the common?
Sure. I'm like excited.
Is there one
I know
already
it can't, I
proposed?
know it can't be on Pleasant Street, but
Right.
the thoughts that count.
You
There's
can see
one.
it actually says Pleasant
Yeah, I know
Street
it does.
right on it.
There's a one that's already for, the kind of the Welcome to Barre, the green one that's there. It's gonna
Okay.
be in similar design to what's in front of the library sign.
The granite
Yeah, the granite
posts,
posts and that
okay.
kind of stuff.
Mhm.
However, it's a really big town, and, coming into the town, there are other, I think we should at least have a conversation with the Higgins family and with the commission as well as society. I know the other one's under order, though, isn't it already? We've ordered the granite one from
I don't know, because
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth was gonna do that.
Yeah,
haven't
I
heard
think
anything.
they have.
Okay.
Okay, but I'll check on that. I think it's been.
Lucy thought that too.
I think it's been,
that
I think it's been already ordered, but that is really kind of cool.
It's very cool, and it's a tremendous gift
Yeah.
from the Higgins to want
Wow,
to
sure.
support the town in that way.
It-
But I'm not certain, they did say they wanted to replicate the one that used to be on the scale, or they wanted the placement of on the scales. So
Yep,
I don't
yep.
know if that changes their
Yeah.
proposal,
Yeah,
but I will.
well, I mean, I
relay
don't say that couldn't be there,
Uh-huh.
and the other one that we have could be somewhere else.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay,
it's too big a sign to be just on another, a different common,
right.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, but
Okay,
thank you for that, that's great.
Okay.
And shall I talk to Ronnie or Chris about this, or
he asked.
Dr. Ron.
talk to Ron?
His
It's his big idea?
His bucket list idea.
It was a bucket
Okay,
list, yeah.
okay.
Yes, great, all right, and if we can help at all as the Historical
Well,
Society.
I think would be
we're happy to
helpful
do
if the Historical Society and the commission wanted to have a conversation about which one they would like where,
Yep,
maybe we could do that,
okay,
because that would make a lot of sense as well,
okay,
you
all
know?
right, good, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, so back to public comment, if we have any public comment. Rich?
Just want to bring to your board's attention, you may already know, but a couple of 5x5 wood grade that goes between the granite post and North Park, one's been on the ground for years,
Mm-hmm.
in this corner over here. and the other corner, there's a couple that are rotted. We'd like to see those replaced. I know we're having Founder's Day there on the 17th of June, so it's a very short time.
I would suspect that some of those came during the common restoration, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then our town hall hasn't been maintained. Like to go down to the basement, the weeds and grass are like this, the vines are going up the side of the
Oh, you
building.
mean down on the side there? Yep.
There's a trash bag that's been there since winter, like,
Mhm.
still our town hall.
The one on Mechanic Street,
Yeah,
Yep.
it's still our town hall, and we're trying to get ready for our 250th, and
okay.
our buildings could use a little.
Well, I think we have a painting contract that we're accepting,
I'll be looking at it.
you know, so, the front of the thing will all be taken care of, and because of some things that we have to do on the fire escapes, we won't be trying to do the back and sides of the building
Sure,
this time.
yeah.
But we'll have that front all taken care of, because that looks pretty rough. And obviously, we will take care of the side, you know, vegetation that needs to be removed. Okay,
Thank you.
my pleasure. And I know that we have had conversations numerous times about the Grove Street extension.
Mhm.
You know, that needs like significant assistance from people who understand the vegetation. People say, oh, just go and hack it up. Well, you know, I think those pine trees, some of them have some disease and so forth, that they have to be removed. So at any rate, I know that that is something that there are a couple groups in town that are going to be working on. The hardscape is in very good condition, but the vegetation looks terrible, so we're focused on that as well.
Well, and the committee will be coming before the board soon to talk about planting a tree on each of the 3 commons
Mhm.
in town.
Mhm.
So
And,
we need some help picking out species for
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, well, I would say ask somebody that knows more about it than me, because everything they planted, they've tried to do a couple trees and for some person who has passed away, and I think has died 3 years in a row. It's
Yeah.
very wet in some of the common, very wet, and
Yeah.
so I would say, yeah, if we pick the right species, we're in good shape, but if we don't, we're not.
Yeah, the 2 trees we planted in 1999, the 225th, are actually doing well.
Mhm.
Dave Carlson was in charge of that
Yeah,
project.
so, yeah, I don't think there's anybody who's opposed to that. We have some that should be removed. I know that when you know, sometimes the common in Southbury, the common in Barre Plains, there's several trees there that need to be removed, and that would be a great place to have a possible, you know, a tree planted down in that area as
Yeah,
well.
we'd love to do on each of the 3.
Hey, listen, you should
sections
see
of
what I
town.
did down there with flags today.
Yeah, sorry, nice picture.
Yeah. So, okay, anything else, Rich?
No, thank you.
Okay, housekeeping, right?
Housekeeping.
That's what we got to do, okay. Anything else, public comment? Okay,
I'm not sure if this is.
go for it.
Okay, I'm Natalie Towner. Here, I live here in town. I have a question about the AA meeting that is held at the senior center.
Mhm.
We were told a couple weeks ago, we had 2 weeks to vacate the building,
Mhm.
and there was no specifics as to why
Mhm.
or.
Well, I know that we've had some problems with a theft at the building. We've had some problems with, please, I'm not saying anything relative to
Didn't
your
do what I swear.
it was nothing to do with anybody, any group that's meeting it, but we had a whole bunch of keys for the building that were out and about in the community. And so people let themselves in, you know, and so, and I'm, you know, we certainly don't know how people got in at certain times, and some things were just small little issues, some were another time when we did have a theft at the thing. So when we changed the locks, okay, we said, we're not gonna pass out keys to the world. We're gonna keep, you know, as few keys out there as possible. And in addition to that, simultaneous to the key change and so forth, we hired a brand-new person to manage the facility. And so in efforts to maintain as much, you know, care and concern for the building and so forth, and let the new person sort of, okay, figure out how is the building being used, what is she responsible for? Is she responsible for the people who meet there after hours? And there's been, you know, 2 or 3 and 4 groups now that have been meeting there consistently. And, you know, she doesn't live in the community, and so do we pass out keys again? Or do we say to this woman, you can come and unlock it or keep it unlocked or whatever? So her request of us was that we have another place for these town groups to meet for a period of time as we, make this transition to a new leadership. And ensuring that the building is safe and secure, because we do have, you can't lock any part of the building off. In other words, if you come in to use just one building, you can get everywhere. You can get to the food store, where they store the food for the lunches that we do. You can get, so nothing, I know it sounds like I'm saying, yeah, we don't trust any of you. No, it's not that. It's just that we have, 3 and 4 different groups that are in and out of there, sort of at whim, because they all have keys. So now they don't all have keys, and nobody's happy about that. So we did open the town hall, to your group and to all the other groups, and say, we'll provide in and out. You got that information, correct?
I did not.
Christine, I talked to Christine Bellino,
Oh,
so she's aware of it.
she did not
Tell
tell us.
anybody?
So we did provide a place for everyone to be, until such time as there may be different decisions made about the senior center, and because we will try to lock parts of the building off. So if you wanna use the building, like meeting room, that's very different than just having free-for-all up and down stairs and that sort of thing.
There's some liability involved in
Yeah.
having groups, have access to a full kitchen without, someone who's employed by the town or in some way there to be responsible for it. So we're trying to figure out the best way to mitigate that
Yeah.
risk, and without, following the past practice, which led to issues, not from any one particular group, but
Right.
just, there were issues that came up with it. I think, realistically, I would lean towards finding a way to separate off essentially a
Yeah.
room, kind of like Maureen was saying, having a meeting room available that
Yeah.
can't access the rest of the building. So we're looking into some options like that, so hopefully we'll have a better solution soon for that.
Currently, there's a policy being put in place,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yeah.
I
Yes, there
believe.
is actually, you're right,
Yeah.
Mark, there's a policy that, the senior center director is working on. They are going to be looking over this policy with the council on agent on May 23rd at 12:30. You're definitely welcome to join us. It's open to the public. And with that being said, they're gonna look over the policy, and then I'm gonna end up looking over the policy, and then ultimately it's gonna come to the select board to look through the policy as well. They have made some conditions already, as John had mentioned about, you can have access to the kitchen, right, and everything, but right now, we've already started working on that. Locks have been actually put on the
Okay.
kitchen door and downstairs as well, so we are containing all that. So we are in a process, it's just gonna take time, because this is something we have not had a policy for. The senior center never had a policy for this, and this is what we're going forward with, working on. And like I said, it's gonna be, if you wanna go, it's on May 23rd at 12:30
At the senior
at the
center?
senior center,
And,
yeah.
and we have an interim solution. All those groups are eligible to meet at the Barre, Town Hall.
At this town hall?
No, the
big
real
one
town hall. This is the Henry Woods building.
The
The real town hall.
Do you know the time, would it be the same time Sunday at 10 a.m.?
It can't, because there's already a group using that every
Okay.
Sunday.
All right, so it's, okay.
Yeah, when I talked to Christine, I told her she could, from 3 o'clock on, use the building.
If you want to
Once
use
that
it.
group leaves,
Okay, yeah, so we did have a small, impromptu business meeting, and she did mention the American Legion offered at 8:30, 9:30 on Sunday, and there was another place that she mentioned in the afternoon, but I didn't catch it, so
That
that must
was
have
the
been what
town
she
hall.
said.
Yeah.
So we'll try to provide for everyone who needs the place.
Okay, thank you.
I know the Barre Taxpayers Association has permanently or temporarily, I don't know, moved to the library.
Okay.
Are they open late enough for you? Because they close at 8.
I don't know this.
Oh. Well, I know that your meeting doesn't start till 7.
Right, or 6:30 sometimes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I don't know whether they're open long enough, but so far, it appears that it might be an okay place. However, the senior center was a wonderful place.
Yeah, we agree. It's a beautiful building, and,
And everybody that in the Taxpayers Association was very, all the time that I was.
oh, we agree.
Very respectful, and it worked out pretty well. The door was opened and by someone else.
Yeah.
And then it was closed by someone
Yeah.
else, and that worked wonderful,
Mhm.
so.
except for the person who's, you know, has to get up and go open it and close it.
Right, unless it's their job responsibility.
Yeah, and of course, it's difficult sometimes to have a job all day and then you're running back and forth to open up a building.
I don't know if the taxpayers would like us to hire someone part-time to do that, the Taxpayers Association,
On a Sunday as well.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, do people meet on the Sunday?
Hmm?
Oh, yeah.
That group,
Their meetings on Sunday,
Oh.
yes.
Yeah,
You meet on Sunday?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, it's something that you guys need to work out on.
we are working
It's
on
not
it.
like, it's not like the citizens don't pay taxes, so
I
there's certain.
Agree with you,
Certain obligations
I
that,
agree,
that citizens pay for all the way around.
absolutely. That's why we're making the town hall as available as we possibly can, that the library will accommodate what they can under their hours. I mean, I think there's good places to meet, and,
and long-term, we're working towards a solution that will hopefully allow the senior center to be used for that again.
As I understand it, the policy will model other towns too, is similar to us. so.
Yes, you're right. She has been
Not
looking at
reinventing
other
the wheel.
towns and seeing how they are going about with the senior center, how they go and rent it or have organizations and whatnot. So we'll see, I don't know what it entails yet. I won't know, but I will be going to the meeting as well on May 23rd at 12:30.
Great.
okay. Anyone else in public comment? Thank you for coming tonight, though, asking that question.
Inquiring minds.
Okay, I think we probably are ready to approve some minutes. May 2nd and May 6th.
I was not at the May 2nd.
Well, I was at the both you and I were there, Mark.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes of the May 2nd meeting.
And I would second that motion to approve those minutes as presented, and those are ready for public as soon as we approve those minutes. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain?
And we have one abstention. Moving along, on Monday, May 6th, we have our meeting minutes there. John, I believe you were here for those.
I move to approve the May 6th meeting minutes.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the meeting minutes of May 6th, Monday, May 6th. I believe those are ready for public release as soon as the vote is final. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, now let's get back to Tammy. Town Administrator Report.
Yeah, so they touched upon one thing, I was gonna touch upon the senior center, so that was part of it. The other one was the fire escape. I spoke with Eddie's, and we are in the process of, they gave me all their liability insurance, I'll be meeting with them this week. They're gonna actually do 2 exchange first, town hall, the fire escape. So we'll be doing that, they'll be coming, pulling a building permit, and then going on that one first. After they finish that one, then we're gonna come and start working on 40 West, doing one at a time. The next one we have is the painting of the town hall. Here's, and just pass these down. We had a quote, so I reached out to 3. One actually came, they never ended up giving me a quote. One told me that they were not able to do it. And then Maureen actually found this one for us. And without the clock, it's $7,465 just for the front. And with the clock, it's $8,340, just the front part of the town hall.
The gentleman who finally did respond to our request for a quote is John K. Leacock, who has done the painting at the Barre Congregational Church, has done the historical work at the Barre Library. He does tremendous work. He does, he came and he gave us a quote.
He was very prompt too.
Yeah.
He gave me the number, he came right out.
With the clock or without the clock, gentlemen?
So without the clock, it's $7,465 which I wrote on there, and with the clock, it's $8,340. So,
You can see what the washing, the scraping, the securing loose wood, the apply full coats, caulking of any cracks in woodwork, apply 1 full coat for Love California, painting and door and shutters as well.
I don't know if some of you guys wanna vote on, with or without it, and then I can move forward with this
I'm looking
project.
for a motion one way or the other, or for opportunity for discussion.
Now, so we had discussed this as part of ARPA funding.
Yeah.
Do you know what the number was during our last discussions about it, what we had as a placeholder?
That I do not know.
Okay. So I think we had set, I think we were expecting a higher amount, if I remember correctly.
I wanna say around 10 to 15,000, but I could be wrong.
So I would be comfortable going with the clock option, where it is less than we were anticipating.
Any other comments, Mark?
I'll be with John on that, because we were anticipating a lot
We
higher.
have a motion, John?
Well, I would move to approve the $8,340 out of ARPA funds for the painting of the front of Town Hall
With clock tower.
with the clock
Yeah,
tower.
the clock, yeah. Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the proposal of John K. Wheelock for $8,340 to paint the front facade of the town hall, doors, blinds, shutters, whatever, and the clock tower. So, those in favor?
Aye, when will that be happening?
So, now that you have approved it, I will call him and let him know, I just need his liability insurance and.
He said he can get to it right away?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay,
I will,
good,
so
good.
Definitely.
hopefully, yes.
Oh, good.
I'm working on it. And then there's only one other thing I wanted to mention, for the public hearing, I was at the finance committee and we had, I just have to make sure it's okay with you. June 12th, that's what day is that? I think it's a Wednesday at 6 PM, if that's okay with you, is okay with them. I wanna make sure that, you can make it. And it would be in the select board.
Okay.
Now, what meeting is that?
So the public hearing would be when finance committee and the select board come together and they go over the budget and the warrant and either favorable or not favorable.
I know I ask this question all the time, and I know you're sick of having me ask it, but tell me a little bit about anything you hear about the Senate amendments, the amendments for regional transportation, the amendments for,
That I have not heard anything so far.
Okay.
I have been working, actually on the budget and working on the balancing of the budget, which I'm hoping you'll come in this week so
Oh, I
we can
will.
go over.
I will.
And I think we're pretty close. We are right there, so
Yeah.
I think we can get by with what I have in there. Again, I just want you to just double check
Jean's
it.
had the opportunity to go
Her
over
and I
her
actually did look,
revenues.
so the accountant and I did go over the revenues of what we have out there right now as what it is. So you go online, we check the cherry sheets
Yeah,
and
right,
all the local
right,
receipts and
right.
everything, and, we did like an estimate, so I do have the estimates and everything, and like I said, right there.
Well, yeah, well, we're always close, we're always
Yeah,
close.
And you gotta realize new growth, obviously, we don't have that
Number
full
yet.
figure yet until November probably. So I'm also going on a very low end, low side, which you'll see when you come in.
Okay. Yeah, well, obviously, as we prepare for town meeting, it's critical to us that we have revenues to support the requested budget. And
Yes.
sometimes we don't have enough revenues to support the entire requested budget. And that's when we call up people like Chief Saborin, or we call up the schools, and we say, we can't do this, and so can you help us? And one thing we do know, that the House budget, when it went through, they cut, unrestricted local aid by 50% to all the towns. That's tough. That's really tough, because we don't get a lot of it anyway, but we cut that. And they've also, unfortunately, in the Senate budget, they cut regional transportation for schools. And you might say, so that's too bad for schools. Well, understand, the town has to pay regional transportation that isn't reimbursed. The state law is specific, 100% reimbursement. Not in my lifetime have there ever been 100% reimbursement. And usually they're up in 85, 90, it looks, we're gonna be around 70. And Quabbin's, that's the only one we care about right now, Quabbin's last contract that they got, this is the first year of their contract will be this September, 18% increase. Yeah, and that's low compared to some of the other regional schools around. I mean, the bids were just, because there's only always one bidder, shocking, no collusion, but only one bidder. And, 18, 20% is sort of the numbers around. I know, the same thing, I know that certainly, Monty Tech, their assessment's up.
Yeah.
But we're such a small part of Monty Tech that it's not as bad. When you say Monty Tech's assessment's up 10%, That's really not as bad as it sounds, because we have a couple more kids there, and of course, their expenses have gone up, so if we can make all of it work, we'll be patting each other on the back, girl. But it's gonna be a tough one.
Well, I did read that the city of Worcester had a negative of 22 million,
Mm.
and they've laid off, they have a whole list, but I remember they laid off
Mm.
68 teachers.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the school system has the same sense of logic to,
Well, the school.
Yeah, I do believe when they presented their budget, they had, some positions they expected to lose through attrition.
13 or 17%, 13 or 17 positions, I
Yeah.
they
believe.
still ask for more money.
They did, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been resolved yet with the finance committee.
Well, nothing's been resolved yet with
No.
the finance committee.
I don't expect their number to actually be the same once we get to,
Well, I think they've already
I'm sure it's
reduced
changing
it.
daily,
Yeah, they,
unfortunately.
They
they,
did reduce
Oh,
it.
they
did they?
reduced it by what, about 3 or 4%?
So it's at
0.01
5.01%.
or something? Yeah, so they were at a little over 8.
Yeah.
And so obviously, they're working on their budget, trying to bring their assessments down, and we know that it's gonna be a tough, it's just tough all around. I mean, we've negotiated new contracts with our employment groups, and they absolutely deserve the raises that were negotiated. But you and I both know, when everybody sat around, they said, well, Maureen, you gotta pay them more money if you wanna be able to keep people working here. True enough. So we're paying them more money, but obviously, now we have to pay the bill. And I think we're prepared to do that, and we have, our police have settled, all of our DPW department. We're working with other, kind of administrative type contracts now to kind of work through those. The thing that we feel sad about is some of our people who are just, not just, but who are not in the union. We're talking about, 2.5% for them, when, certainly we've been able to be more generous with others, so we're worried about that, I think.
Absolutely.
We're worried about that, and we're gonna be trying to address that in some ways. Because obviously, 2.5% increase isn't even close to keeping up with anything, not even the price of eggs, so.
I did receive an email from someone by the name of Riando, I can't recall the first name.
Oh, I can.
And he mentioned to me, and I wasn't aware of it, I discussed it with the assessors department, but, someone here from the assessors department tonight?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay. Is that the residential seem to be amended annually, or based on some state mandate or state regulation,
Residential what, tax rate?
tax rate.
Oh, okay.
Now, the commercial industrial,
We don't have we just have one basic tax.
right, but the commercial industrial assessments haven't been changed for 5 years. And I discussed that with the assessors department, and he said that in the past, the state never amended these things for 5 years, but he claims that now
They did.
Now the state is asking for information on an annual basis. I just feel badly for the folks who got hit with this significant tax increase recently, that they have to wait 5 years before they get some sort of equality between industrial and commercial, and that's all. So,
Okay, because we have only one tax rate, you think we should have two?
I'm not saying we should have one or
Oh.
two, but the calculations for industrial, commercial, whatever that represents, for that block down on 12232, for the lumber company, for all the industrial, commercial, and the stores, whoever they are, they were not addressed for 5 years.
You mean like reassessed?
The calculations that they needed to send in to the state to notify the state their income or their expenses or their balance sheet hasn't been done for 5 years.
And you knew that how? Because Mr. Riando said so?
Well, Mr. Riando sent me a letter of concern. That's a good word.
Okay.
And I went to the assessors, and Jesse Warren gave me details about the issue. And he claims that this year and last year, there's been some changes, but it hasn't carried forward. So I guess someone should check in with Jesse Warren and try to get an understanding of what has happened, because this tax rate that we just had, that affected everybody.
Mhm.
Whether it affected the commercial and industrial as much, I don't know,
Mhm.
because I don't have commercial and industrial to understand. But that's what was explained to me, so I just wanted to mention that.
So your issue isn't with the fact that we only have one rate. Your issue is with the fact that there has.
There's no issue, it's just an effort of explaining that one component of the tax structure, which is called industrial commercial, and that's how it's zoned.
Yeah,
The calculations and the value of that
yeah, you're saying there has been no reval of that section of the.
has not been
Okay,
addressed
got
for
it,
5 years because of some state issue.
okay,
And Jesse Warren explained it very well.
okay.
So I guess if people want to know,
We call the governor.
we can call Jesse Warren, and he does a hell of a job.
Okay, great. Tammy? Oh, yeah, this was part of your report. We just got a little bit twisted around.
Is there anything
tax
in your
rate.
town report?
Oh. You caught me off guard.
This all-
What?
this-
I'm like getting into the conversation.
This
No,
all
that was
came from the
everything.
June 12th
Oh,
meeting.
June 12th meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, so I guess if we could prove on that.
Yeah.
June
Yep.
12th
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah, and do we have a vote on that, please? That we approve the June 12th public hearing on the FY '25 budget
Do we-
presentation?
Yeah, I'll make that motion for the June 12th public hearing for the budget at 6 PM at the Henry Woods Building.
Yeah.
Here? Yeah.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the public hearing on the FY '25 budget for June 12th, 6 PM in the Henry Woods Building. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and I hope you'll all be there.
And I'll let the finance committee know, so.
Okay, sounds good.
And that's all I had in my report.
Okay.
All
Just say select board reports.
Sure, I'll
You're
jump.
next, so just be ready now.
I'll jump in. First off, it is National Public Works Week, so I just want to thank all our DPW workers for all the work that they're doing. On that side of things too, I wanted to bring to Tammy's attention and to a few other people's attention that the state is changing some things about MapIt, which is a software system that they have in place. So they've actually broken it out into a few things, so there's now 2 MapIts, and this is where it gets important because one of them is just for safe routes to school, so we want to make sure we let the schools know that if we're seeking any safe routes to school grants, that's now a separate program. And then a third aspect of it, which went live at the beginning of the month, is now called Grant Central, which is going to be important for us going forward. And even Chapter 90 is now part of Grant Central. There's a whole bunch that's getting remapped into there by the state. So the town and the DPW are gonna have to start working pretty closely. As far as Grant Central goes and the breaking up of MapIt after a great, 4-year run that the state had that system in place. So that is just something we need to pay attention to as far as getting reimbursements for Chapter 90, looking at any other road funding and a whole variety of other grants that are, possibilities. The other thing I wanted to bring up, there was an email that I think you were copied on about the playgrounds, about a new, a different potential vendor from Mary Ann. I wasn't sure if that was someone that we had looked into
Yeah.
or could look into.
No, that's,
I
Potentially.
haven't had a chance to sort of go over it with Maureen as well.
yeah, that is the thing that we were all, I think you missed that one.
At the last,
Yeah.
yes, May 2nd.
And,
I wasn't there.
we've been in touch with that gentleman to ask some interesting questions. We visited a couple of the playgrounds that his company has
Yeah,
installed.
she mentioned the one by the center school in Hubbardston, right?
She's
Which
another
is,
one she gave us this morning.
Oh,
I didn't have a
Yes,
chance
yes.
to see you.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things we can do on it, so if it's something that we decide to look into and go forth with, we'd have to go through procurement, so
Yeah.
procurement
Okay,
on
they're
this,
not on the list?
they were not on the list, I
Okay.
did double check all that, I wanted to make sure and see if they were or weren't. So if that was something that you wanted to go forth with, we'd have to go
Gotcha.
through the whole procurement process, combis, advertisement, and then it wouldn't be until next year, again, that would be up to you.
Okay.
Or we can go
Well, I
forward.
think we've got some really good potential already, so
Yeah, this
I'm-
was a situation where it seemed like it could be a good deal, on equipment, but unfortunately, if they're not on the state's list, because the state likes to decide, you know, who's pre-approved, then the process to get them approved to use their equipment is extensive and would delay the project.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate.
I mean, it's stuff we can also still look into, maybe as I was gonna talk with all of you about it.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
Well, maybe for Rice Park or something in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
think about that too.
You know, I'm in contact with Mary Ann in regards to the playground issue. And if the town of Hubbardston was able to use their services, how difficult is it? And I understand from Mary Ann, because she's doing a hell of a job.
Mhm.
I really don't want you guys to disregard the efforts that she's making.
Yeah, she's done, yeah.
If the town of Hubbardston has done this, and I understand from some communication that these people are ready quickly, I don't know how difficult, and I did investigate this list issue, but I think we can do whatever the town of Hubbardston did.
So there's a potentially, the way they would have not, so either they went through procurement, which is a more extensive process, you open it up to bidders, you have closed bids, you know, a similar process to what we went through with the infrastructure study for South Barre, where we have, you know, a comment period from different potential.
Would you say 6 to 8 weeks, 9 weeks maybe?
It'd be longer than that.
It wouldn't be until next year that the
And I
plan.
understand.
And the other way they might have done it.
The numbers from Mary Ann are a lot lower than everybody else.
I know, it would be great, but.
Because I got the same email that
Yep.
you guys did.
The other way that they might not have gone through procurement in Hubbardston, the playground that they did there is by the center school. I don't know what the value of that playground was at the time it was put in. You know, I know that playground's a good bit older than their newest playground.
I believe it was
And so-
50,000 at the time, 2013, something like that. I think that was on that report that,
That's what she said, that she called her
Okay.
back,
Mary,
and
yeah.
said she did now. I mean, you still have to look at
If
other
it was under a
things,
certain amount, yeah.
ADA compliance, and there's other things you need to look at. I'm not saying you can't do it, you know, it's something that you could, you know, it's up to the select board. If you want to go through combis, obviously it wouldn't be done until next year. You know, we have to go through the full process of it. It's just not a quick process, it's a more intense process. It's
it's funding, and then
advertising.
can we get under the ARPA umbrella of that?
Well,
you know
as
what
long as
I'm
we
saying?
have a thing that we are ready to
Yeah.
act on, we've
Right.
gone through bidding and we have a contract, we can certainly still get it through ARPA.
It's nice
The
before.
question is this deal that they're offering on this playground equipment, is that something that holds up until next year, or is this just what they have available right now, so they're ready to move quickly with it, which isn't an option for us if we have to go through procurement?
And I think we also, you know, we have to just look at the specifications and make sure that the specifications are equivalent, depending, you know, whether it be the.
I think it's
So I
something we
think-
should definitely look
Sure.
into. I
Yeah, if
will
you could
say
reach out
that
to them.
Mary Ann has done a lot of work, and she has, and I will show both of you, I did show Mark, he did come in today,
Yeah,
and I showed
Special
him the
thanks to
pictures.
her for all that work.
And she did a lot of, she took pictures of all the parks and everything, so it's definitely something we could definitely look into and see what we can get from it, or if you want to go forth with it or not. Like the park grant, we couldn't do anything
That's
with
true.
that anyways until next year, so it's something we could consider. Maybe we don't get the playground up right away, but we could also use the park funding, the park grant for this for next
Hopefully,
year.
right.
If we get chosen, of course. I know John and I have been working with that as well. So there are options that we can look at, and we can, you know, do every avenue that there is and see where we can go forth with it. What is the best for the town of Barre ultimately would be the
Well,
decision.
I think too, we have to be conscious of apples to apples.
Absolutely.
Making sure when we talk about what is the material that the
Yes.
things are made out of, what is the ADA compliance?
Yeah.
How close are they to, do they have a lot of ADA compliance that they work into their bid? Because you and I both know, that's a huge expense of the
Very big.
project, and far more than I thought.
Same.
Mhm.
But I think, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be playing on it anyway, so if I have to wait another year, it could be
But if we
okay.
you know, it's
I'm
something we
waiting-
You'd be
definitely
surprised
look
if
into.
you get it compliant enough, you can play on it.
I just know, you know, as,
Did I mention the zoning, like matching the grants?
Oh, yeah, I can bring that up.
you got something else, John?
Yep, so, one of the other things that came up with CMRPC, is a potential grant that we might be able to use ARPA as a match for, because of the way this grant is structured, it's different from ones where we couldn't use ARPA, to go through and redo the zoning for Barre, which I know is something that the planning board has talked about at different times. We would really need a lot of input from them to know if we should go forward with it. I believe there's, the CMRPC representative from the planning board is Matt Urban, so I think we'll have to maybe start, touch base there, where he's their representative.
CMRPC is basically looking for a selectman matching grant. There were two, I know one was zoning, the other one was at One Stop. There was another one. They want to know if we would consider doing a matching grant with them. We could use the ARPA funding, so that was looked at. I do think it's important that we show that we're willing to participate in these grants, because that only gives us more ability to get more grants in the future, so.
And putting this forward doesn't mean that we're automatically gonna get it, but it puts into the application that we are serious about this, we are willing to put our funds towards it as well, to whatever extent, and that helps us bring in other funds. It's a little obscure, but that's typically how grants
That's how it
work.
works, yeah.
And so we wanna be looking at opportunities to bring, you know, any revenue into the town that's not from taxpayers.
And
You know,
then-
especially anytime there's private grants too, anything, you know, there's lots of private grants out there. It's actually pretty interesting.
So that's something that we'll communicate with the planning board about.
So we need to touch base with them, but we also need to determine on our end, you know, basically would we be willing to put up funds to match, I don't remember what percent
I
it
know
was.
one was like $5,200 some odd dollars, I don't have the other
Yeah.
one. But would you be willing to match the grants, 'cause they are looking for an answer, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
I know that CMRP, and I could be wrong about this, but Richard, you spoke about this zoning change, that they had about 3 years ago at the town meeting, where there was a presentation about a zoning change, and I think Chris did as well.
We did,
And I know that CMRPC did the presentation there, and it was less than, helpful, only because of the person who was representing them at that time, so I know that they've done this before in combination with this planning board, so that, I think they've done it before, and they might be interested again.
Okay, and if they are you willing, is the select board
If you're talking $5,000,
interested in doing this
I would be
matching?
very
Doing some
interested in
matching?
it. I don't wanna sacrifice the playground for it.
No, it wouldn't be that much funding.
It's okay.
But yeah, so, I'm not sure who was at CMRPC at that time. The people
Oh,
we're
yeah.
working with now on the master plan are very, I mean, you know, saw what happened,
Right.
with Stone Cow and the investment
Yeah.
in time that,
They
you
put
know,
in,
we're putting into moving things forward. We are still seeking funding to continue the master plan. We have phase one,
yeah.
you know, into the state for their approval, and we're looking for funding with CMRPC to get phase 2 done of the master plan. So we're hoping to have that moving again this fall.
Okay.
So,
John, anything else?
I think that's everything I have.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Tammy, has the audit report has come in?
The audit report has come in, and I'm gonna discuss it with each one of you this week. There were a few things on there.
Can you touch on what their, like, a couple of the main concerns, is it something that we can pass?
There were some things there in the past. One of the main ones that I think we all need to talk about is the fraud assessment. I think we all know. It's been on there since 2019. I actually have had conversation with our auditors, and they had said that they are able to go ahead and do a fraud assessment. And
Are we working with Markham now?
so we are working with Mark, but I will, so they are gonna be calling me this week to talk about it, because if we don't do something about it, it's gonna constantly be on our report.
Right.
So I did ask them for pricing and what that would entail. A fraud assessment would be entailing basically, you know, starting from, someone will only be here 5 months, right? So they would go through all the departments, COA, police, DPW, treasurer, accountant, everything with a fine tooth comb to make sure everything's on spot. And then I did even ask if they could actually help us with the fraud assessment policy. They said they absolutely could. I think it's now that'd be a great ARPA funding. I think it's a great spot for us to do that, to give us somewhat of a clean slate.
Yeah.
A few other things that came up are our regulars. What else came up? Timing on the warrants, which I'm gonna discuss with all of you. You can always designate someone, which we can discuss that down the road further. Also, other things came out. There were a few other things that we'll go over, but one of the main ones was definitely the fraud assessment. I know we could definitely take care of that one. Everything else is getting a little better. Obviously, town accountant and treasurer working very diligently and going forward with everything, so I'd like to start plugging away at some of these things.
Will Markham send a representative to actually present the audit to us?
I'm glad actually that was brought up, because yes, we can have them do that. So if you would all like me to do that, I will set up a time for them to come in and do that and talk with us about it.
We usually do that, and
I think
it's very
that's a great-
helpful for everyone to,
absolutely.
you know,
So
in town to have the experts explain to us what the issues are.
Yep.
So Markham has bought out Powers and Sullivan, Melanson and Heath, and any other temp auditor anywhere. I mean, right, so it's like what the TV says, ask Markham. Well, we're gonna be asking Markham, and I would suspect when we renegotiate the, maybe a 3-year deal with them. I mean, I work in a nonprofit, and, our thing went up over 40% because Melanson and Heath went to Markham.
They do go really high.
Very
I will
expensive.
tell you, one thing I did find with Markham, they were very informative with me. As soon as the draft came out, I was on the phone with them, we were discussing everything that was on the report, so.
Good.
I have a lot of good feelings that we can touch base on a lot of these and clean a lot of these things up, at least. It's obviously not gonna happen in a year, or maybe not even in 2, but I see a big progress as to where we can go and start eliminating these things off of our audit report. So hopefully, before you know it, we'll have a nice clean one, which will make me very happy.
I think it's definitely needed. And speaking with Jean, I was talking to her, just kind of a side note, we have an agency account with driveway refunds with $38,000 in it, and there's been $28,000 in there for at least 10 years, and nobody seems to know.
Yeah, see,
who
the
they go
stuff
back
like
to.
that, they clean up stuff like
Yeah.
that, they'll look at the books, like, even our, so we had, I think I mentioned this about the tailings, I know Marie didn't know what that was with the treasurer, we have all these checks that haven't been cashed, so we have to really do a tailings on that, which the treasurer and I have discussed, and we're in the process of going forth, and we're gonna be doing all that stuff, so there's a lot we gotta clean up and see where we're at, and it's just gonna take time. We'll get
Time is
there.
on our side.
That's right, we'll
That's
get
right.
there,
Okay, great.
optimistic.
Mark, anything else? Okay. Can you just bring us up to date a little bit, Tammy, on, I know it's the town clerk has gotten this money, for being able to do sort of an assessment around our community about, safety and security.
The security, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's a pretty amazing opportunity for us.
This is really an amazing opportunity, and the town clerk and I work very close together. She had actually brought it up to me with the polls that she's gonna be doing, the polls she does, one's at the senior center and one's out here. So with that being said, the state goes ahead and they have offered to go ahead and do a security study on us. So then when she brought it to my attention, I had asked, can we go further and do even more of a security assessment on every building? I wanna see everything done. For me, I want a fresh, clean start, cause I want everything to be, so then in a year,
We can't blame you,
you can't blame me
Got
now,
it.
though, you'll be able to, once I get all this done, right? You can say, Tammy, what happened? So with that being said, they did say we could actually go forth, and I did mention, we could even do the schools as well. I don't know if you mentioned it to, the superintendent, but I think that's a great thing if you want to go forth on that as well. And then from there, we could go ahead and actually get grants and have them maybe help us with the cameras, or how else are we gonna do security? I don't really know. I mean, even this building kind of needs, obviously, we have a lot of security in all.
Needs.
A lot of question marks.
Needs.
Question marks, thank you, that's exactly right.
A lot of keys out there,
A
potentially.
lot of keys out there. A lot of
You
keys
got
out
that
there.
right, so, one at a time, but we're getting there, so it's a really big plus for us, and we're very fortunate to have Ellen working on that with us, and
Well, certainly, Tammy, I congratulate you for the amount of work you've done, and I congratulate you also for all of the training you did last week with the town clerk
yes, we did
on
a lot of that.
on another big project you have.
I think the public is, the residents are gonna really love this. It's, Laserfiche, just to touch on it a little bit. when everything's all done, actually Sandy was in the, was in the training with me as well, and it's gonna be very nice, it's gonna be organized, so when, we're gonna test it out first, and then we're gonna put it out to the public, and the residents will be able to go in, if you're trying to look up a minute, so you wanna look up a select board minute, you can just go ahead and look it up. The accountant could put stuff on there, the treasurer could put stuff, anything you're thinking of putting up there, so anything you wanna look at, or birth certificates, how many of you have seen, what else did they say, so many things. I can't
Just
even,
about everything, except for
everything.
executive
Budgets.
minutes.
budgets, you could put budgets out
Budgets,
there, you could
yeah.
put warrants out there.
I'm
You-
sure that Neil Anders would be very happy.
I was
Well,
thinking of, honestly,
thought
it's
it
almost
right
like
away.
an
But it's
open,
been a lot of
it's not an
it's been
open
a-
checkbook, but you can go ahead and look and see, what exactly are we doing? And you can see, actually, I think, Kay was in there as well, so it was excellent. Wasn't it a great training?
It seems so thorough, it seems like the entire town of Barre database available
Yes.
will be made available to
I
everybody.
think it's gonna be a great,
With security
that
in
include,
place,
Yeah.
too.
yes.
Include video storage for meetings, or would that be separate but still
I
accessible
guess you
through
could
it?
probably put videos on there, huh? Cause you can upload documents and stuff like that. It had a lot of cool features, so I'm sure that's probably one that, I
Yeah.
can't say 100%,
Okay,
but,
great.
so I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, well, I know that you've been working very hard to, you know, play catch-up and make sure that we're getting all kinds of things in place. And, yeah, so you all know, we've had a lot of turnover in our town administrator position. I think you're probably number 5 in both the last 4 years, but not to worry. Everybody loves it here.
6.
Yeah. 6, oh, I'm sorry, 6. But at any rate, a lot of good things going on, Tammy, and we really very much appreciate. I know, because sometimes I come into the office and I feel so badly, because you're working on so many things, you have a pile for this and a pile for that.
I was like, don't let me touch my piles, I know
Don't
where
touch
everything
anything,
is.
don't touch anything. But, we really appreciate your work. It's hard to do all of the things that lie before us. And while I'm thanking people for hard work, I thank the 250th committee too for all of the work that you guys are doing and have done and yet to do. As you get closer, I'm sure there's just more and more work. And, now, what time on June 17th do you want the, selectmen, and what do you want us to do?
We kick off at 10:30.
10:30, and are we just?
We'd love to have some grand speeches from our select board.
Oh, hey, you can count on me, you can count on me. No, seriously, do you know, if there are things you want us to do, please just let us know so that we can make the event as, you know, as reasonable and as good as you want it to be. Because I know you've worked really hard, we don't wanna screw it up.
We'll have our program ready, probably Wednesday night finalist.
Okay, so just let us know, I know it's the 17th, but I didn't know it's 10:30, and I will absolutely make sure I'm there. Won't we, guys?
Yep, oh yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, moving on,
Actually, if I could jump back
Sure.
to reports for a second.
this is the
Remember
third time, but okay.
Second for me, I think.
Oh.
Nah, maybe third. I think, so we had talked before about video cameras
Mhm.
setups, and I don't believe we ever actually voted on that. I don't know if we can add that at least to our next agenda, if we can't
Absolutely.
take care of that now, but we didn't actually officially vote to use
Purchase
PEG
those.
funding for those, so
Okay.
we can bring that back up at the next one,
Yeah,
if there's any
meeting.
last discussion on it.
Okay.
That's it.
June 3rd.
Okay. We have done the sign, we've done Central Mass Law Enforcement Council Mutual Aid, CEMLEC agreement. I know we've been working on getting a copy of that, the chief is here. Are we all happy with what we're gonna have to sign, or we just have to live with what we got?
Well, just to give you a brief overview, CEMLEC, they provide another resource for us in addition to the state police. So it's a regional, they have K-9 units, they have crash reconstruction, which we use quite a bit. Unfortunately, we just had to use it a week ago. They also offer like a SWAT team. So basically, it's just a supplemental resource that municipalities can use in addition to the state police. Because you know, sometimes we'll call the state police for a K-9 and they may not have a they may have a K-9 in Plymouth, you know, whereas CEMLEC may have a K-9 officer in Auburn that we can use.
Okay.
That's what it's about. They just, their policies haven't been updated in a long time, so they just rolled out a new policy and just requested that.
And you happy with it?
Yes.
Anybody else have questions on the
No,
camera?
I don't.
Okay. Do we need a vote on the agreement?
I just need your signatures.
Okay, so no formal vote, just our signatures will do?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Okay, election worker appointment. Susan Milkman would love to work and be an election worker. I have a motion to appoint her.
I move to appoint Susan Milkman as an election worker.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to appoint Susan Milkman as an election worker. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Request to use town property, Town Hall, Wisdom Memorial Library for the Whalemobile, right? On 7/26 from noon till 6 PM. You want to speak to that, Joe?
Sure, it's gonna be an afternoon program, I think probably around 2:30 or 3 o'clock. It's a 40-foot, right around 40-foot blow-up whale that they're gonna put into Town Hall.
Okay, it's a blow-up whale, it's not like a real.
It's not a real one.
It's not.
Okay, now that okay.
And it's similar to like a planetarium, they can fit 20 kids inside at a time.
Oh, how cool is that?
Which is, yeah, really cool, so they're gonna do.
You're gonna
I think,
feel like,
3
you know.
different sessions, and that's gonna be one of our big summer programs.
Oh, nice.
Where is that going?
At the town hall.
At the town hall?
Inside the town hall.
Inside?
We can't fit it in the library,
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure we can fit it diagonally on the first floor of the town hall, so that's what we're gonna try to do.
Well, the thing
Sounds
is,
good.
I mean, it's gonna be in July, you should really go to the school if you have to.
Oh, I didn't even think of this.
Oh, come on, I always think of the school. Go to school.
Alright.
I mean, the school's huge, and they definitely,
true.
and you would definitely be able to, have a lot of space around it.
Yeah.
Either put it in the gym or in the
Yeah,
cafeteria.
they might have to fold the flippers up on the wall, so we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
okay.
But,
But that might be
That
better
is-
than the town hall.
yeah, do you want
And
me-
it's- and it-
should I try to do that?
Well, I'm just
first?
saying,
Is
there's better
that-
handicapped
I think we can-
accessibility.
We can
Yeah.
still approve
We can
it.
approve it, and then
Yeah.
you can pull it if
Yeah,
you
put it
decide to
wherever.
go with the school,
Okay.
and just let me know if I need to register the kids ahead of time, no.
What age group would this be like appropriate for?
This, I believe, I wanna say is 5,
5 to 12?
yeah, right around there. I think
Okay.
it's 5 is the
Okay,
bottom of the range.
great. We have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the use of town hall for the Whalemobile on Friday, July 26th from 12 to 6 p.m.
Why don't we say town property, because then it can be
Town
co-op,
property.
it can be the high school, I mean, it can be Ruggles Lane, or it can be wherever you want to put it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
We have a-
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the use of town property for the Woods Memorial Library to present the Whalemobile on Friday, 7/26, from 2 to 6 p.m.
He has a
From
name.
12 to 6 p.m.
He has a name.
It does have a name. I don't
He
know what
does?
it
His
is.
name is Niall.
Niall?
Yeah.
Niall will be here. Okay,
From 12 to 6 p.m.
those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, got a vote. Okay, do we have a special events application for Summerfest Saturday? Is that you guys?
Yep.
Okay, we're ready for another special event. You wanna just talk a little about it? We have all your paperwork, so we're ready to do
This
it.
one, Amanda Clapham and I are spearheading this one. We kind of broke off into different subcommittees to work on some things. So in the past, Barre has had the Barre fairs, back in the day. And originally, we had kind of looked at it as a beer and wine festival, thinking about it that way. But we had some pushback when we had the 21 plus event. And we really want our 250th events to be family friendly. So we geared this to everybody.
Mhm.
So our event we do have a section, you should have gotten the map,
Mhm,
with
mhm.
the beer and wine area.
Mhm.
We have a food truck area. We have a child-friendly play area.
Mhm.
We've got bands. Sadly, the bands that we had hoped, was unable, they had to cancel on us, so we're still searching for another band. We have axe throwing, appropriate, with permits and all things, to present to you coming up, for children and adults. He is fully permitted out of New Hampshire. We have the Reptile Man, which is my favorite thing. But he is coming, and he gave us a wonderful deal to come because he's from town. And we're still looking for petting zoo as well. So basically, just the whole idea of having a fair, another very,
Okay.
Very fall
And it's,
fair, or
and it's
very fair.
preceded by the Whalemobile.
Oh, yes,
What could go
we're
wrong?
looking at the lumberjacks as well. We're trying to add contests in. I almost forgot about that, thank you. Like the frog jumping, your classic contest. So frog jumping, lumberjack, we're trying to work with a couple of people. Pie eating, yes, we're in contact with trying to get the small pies. And looking at hay bales to do like the hay bale obstacle courses for some of the little ones. So it should hopefully be a really great family-friendly day and kind of appeal to all crowds.
Great,
So
great.
that's the hope.
Sounds like just an awful lot of work to get it organized, so thank you
It's
so
been a lot
much.
of work.
We need a motion to approve?
Before we do that, do we approve events for Felton Field, or is that through the Felton Field Commission?
I was gonna ask that.
We both have to approve it?
No,
Okay.
well, sometimes they do.
Yeah, we have been in contact with
Felton
Okay.
Field.
Field.
They came
Yeah.
and chatted with us, they gave us the open dates, we picked this based on their
Okay.
calendar.
Alright, as
Yeah,
long as
we-
everyone's,
Yeah,
okay. Just wanted to make sure. So in that case, I would move to approve the special event application for the 250th Committee for Summerfest on July 27th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the special event application for the 250th Committee for a summer fest on Saturday, 7/27, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Those in favor?
Aye.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
A lot of work.
The next thing on there is still.
Is-
the next day?
And then,
And then you have to
and
do
then
the
we have the
liquor
one-day
license
special liquor license for the Lost Town Brewing Company, 250th Committee Summer Fest on 7/27, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
So I would move to approve the one-day special liquor license for Lost Town Brewing Company and the 250th Committee, at the 250th Committee Summer Fest on Saturday, July 27th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the special liquor license for Lost Town Brewery Company for the 250th Committee Summer Fest, Saturday, 7/27, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let's vote.
Could be others,
Yeah,
Okay,
could be others.
I held on to some things based on coming here tonight and chatting with you, so there will be some.
Okay,
others
sounds
pushed
good.
away.
I think we have at this point wage authorizations and those as printed. Scott Churchill from step 3, step 6, license stipend of $32.83 an hour. Odin Forgas from step 1 to step 4, license stipend $25.36 per hour. Kyle Noel, 4th to step 3, license stipend $33.02 an hour. Jacob Pochelski, step 3, step 3, $25.69 an hour. Russell Ward. These look like they're going from one step to another, just because we modified the steps in the new contract. These are all people who are are at the right step now.
Yep.
And because they have certain licenses, they get another 15 cents an hour or 10 cents an hour. So that's all been researched and verified by Tammy and by the DPW department. So we need,
And these are effective beginning July 1st of 2023?
Yeah, these are effective, because that's when the contract went
Yep.
back.
So these are backdated, essentially
Yeah.
they'll be
Yes.
brought through, so.
so we need a motion to approve the wage authorizations that bring their salaries into alignment with the new contract.
I move to approve the wage authorizations for Scott Churchill for $32.83 per hour, Odin Forges for $25.36 per hour, Kyle Knoll for $33.02 per hour, Jacob Pochelski,
Pochelski.
for $25.69 per hour, and Russell Ward for $23.26 per hour.
We have a motion?
Second.
Seconded. We motion made and seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I believe we have completed the agenda as presented.
Thank you very much.
See you, Rich.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
oh, we're not,
We're not-
didn't you want
Thanks, guys,
Apple
good
on?
night.
Good night now.
See you, Jim.
Didn't what, I'm sorry?
Tim, you had me put Apple on here.
Oh, yes,
I
there was
think
a
that was John.
old business,
We were discussing the matching of the select boards that I was
oh, yeah.
mentioned.
Wait, the matching, potential matching of those grants that we brought up, it came up during the select board reports.
Are we gonna vote on it? Do you wanna vote on that, John?
We should really vote on it, because they are
Yeah.
looking for
Okay.
the answer.
So, do you
So
know?
this goes to the selectmen report?
Yes.
We'll keep it here, because we're coming back to vote on it, so we're gonna hit it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna hit it now. We briefly discussed it earlier, but we're gonna get up to it now. So, do you have offhand what, you said you don't have what those numbers are, if we do up to
Let
an
me see if
amount?
I can find. I don't have it, let me give me 1 second.
Can we do a not to exceed?
Yeah, we might be able to do a not to exceed number. Energy Environmental, so we have the Energy and Environmental Affairs EEA Planning Assistance Grant. For that, a 25% match is required, but can be met in a variety of ways. Master Plan Phase 2 is what that would be for, so we'd be looking at 50,000 there to put forward as a grant. I believe we were looking at other potential locations as well for getting that funding, or, sorry.
So 50,000?
Yeah, it wouldn't be that much.
No, wait, hang on. Plus that,
So phase 2 is let me just read what it says.
Yeah.
The master plan phase 2 is 62,500, total cost would be 50,000. The match would be 12,500.
Okay, that's great, 12,500, yeah.
That's one of them.
Yep.
The other one is a community one-stop growth. This would be a 10% match. And they say it's highly recommended because, again, this gives us other grant opportunities. The zoning would be, the total cost would be 62,700,
So 6,000.
but the grant would be 5,700.
Okay, so the potential is there for us paying 12,500 to get one grant and
and
6,200.
5,700 for the
Yeah.
other grant.
Yeah.
So the first grant being for phase 2 of the master plan, the second one being for a variety, potentially a variety of grants, including the rezoning.
Rezoning, yeah.
Sandy, do you have that?
I'll get it off.
Okay.
You guys
I
went
can-
too
I
fast,
have it
and I can
here.
ask Tammy.
Yeah, I just wanna steal the names
You
of
just
those
went too
grants so we
fast.
can do this properly. Alright, so,
You're making a motion now?
yep. I move to approve $12,500 from ARPA funding as a match for a community one-stop for growth grant.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the amount of $12,500 to match for a one-stop for growth grant, working with Central Mass Regional Planning. Right?
I'm sorry, no.
Okay then.
I mixed up which one was which. The one-stop community, sorry, I moved to approve an Energy and Environmental Affairs EEA Planning Assistance Grant in the amount of $12,500 out of ARPA funds for a match for the Master Plan Phase 2.
Okay.
That's the EEA one.
We have a second for
Yeah,
that?
second that.
Okay, so that's a $12,500 match for an energy, et cetera, grant as noted.
Energy and Environmental Affairs Planning
Energy
Assistance
and
Grant. Environmental.
Environmental Affairs Assistance Grant. Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright, the second one is, I moved to authorize the use of $5,700 out of ARPA funds for a community one-stop growth match
Okay.
for a grant to include rezoning.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded.
Second.
Okay, to move to authorize the use of ARPA funds to $5,700 for a community one-stop growth grant. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll
Tammy.
reach out to Matt and
Tammy,
start with
are we sure we can use ARPA funds for that?
Yep,
We are.
absolutely, yep,
We able to.
CMRPC, actually, that's was their recommendation.
Because I know on some of the grants, the federal stuff,
So
we haven't
federal
been able
stuff
to.
cannot,
Cannot,
but this one
okay.
you
I just
absolutely can.
Want to ask, yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to adjourn now.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to adjourn. We are adjourned.
Alright.
Aye.